Hi everybody, welcome back to Goodnight Lighthouse. I'm Miss Dorothy and I'm here to read you another story. Now this is going to seem a little funny because we've been reading a lot of books lately about building forts. Do you remember that? First we read the fort that Jack built, where he built that fort inside, right? Then we read the tree fort that Jack built, where Jack built a big fort out in a treehouse. Well, today we're going to read about another tree and another fort, but it's about a girl. It's a different book, and it's called The Nut That Fell from the Tree. The Nut That Fell from the Tree. I think we're going to find out about the tree that they build these forts in. How did that tree get there, and how did it get so big? We're going to have to get into this book and find out who's building another fort and what happens up there. Are you ready to get inside this book with Miss Dorothy? Good. I need you to sit up and listen up, because here we go. The Nut That Fell from the Tree, written by Sangeeta Bhadra and France Cormier. This is the house where Jill plays. Oh, look, that must be Jill. She's got a tree house. This is the oak that holds the house where Jill plays. This is the nut that fell from the oak that holds the house where Jill plays. Wow, her treehouse is in a giant oak tree, and that little nut fell out of the tree and is lying on the ground. This is the rat looking out from a shoe that stole the nut that fell from the oak that holds the house where Jill plays. The little rat came out and went and got that nut. This is the jay with feathers of blue that swooped in on the rat looking out from a shoe that stole the nut that fell from the oak that holds the house where Jill plays. Oh, that bird took the nut right away from that rat. This is the goose with a bird's eye view that ruffled the jay with feathers of blue that swooped in on the rat looking out from a shoe that stole the nut that fell from the oak that holds the house where Jill plays. Look, now the goose has it. They keep passing that nut around. This is the raccoon, a sneak through and through, that tricked the goose with a bird's eye view, that ruffled the jay with feathers of blue, that swooped in on the rat looking out from a shoe, that stole the nut that fell from the oak that holds the house where Jill plays. Now the raccoon has it. This nut's getting everywhere. This is the doe with her fawn, peekaboo, that surprised the raccoon, a sneak through and through, that tricked the goose with a bird's eye view, that ruffled the jay with feathers of blue, that swooped in on the rat looking out from a shoe, that stole the nut that fell from the oak that holds the house where Jill plays. Now they saw a deer, and he dropped it. The raccoon dropped the nut. This is the bear, he loves acorns too, roar! That chased the doe with her fawn, peekaboo, that surprised the raccoon, a sneak through and through, that tricked the goose with a bird's eye view, that ruffled the jay with feathers of blue, that swooped in on the rat looking out from a shoe, that stole the nut that fell from the oak that holds the house where Jill plays. The bear wants it too? Everybody wants that little nut. And this is the skunk that was woken up by all of this hullabaloo. Uh-oh, they woke up the skunk. Ah, pay you! And the skunk put off his scent, and they all ran away and dropped the nut, and it looks like it fell into the river. Then all was cold, all was dark, all was still, until, oh no, who's got it now? This is the sun, this is the light that came from the sun, this is the hill that shone in the light that came from the sun, this is the nut that lay on the hill that shone in the light that came from the sun. This is the squirrel that buried the nut that lay on the hill that shone in the light that came from the sun. And that little nut grew and grew and grew Now that little nut became a giant oak tree. This is the oak, mighty and tall. They came from the nut, sturdy and small, and now holds a house where Jack plays. Oh, look! Jack must be Jill's grandson, and now he's in a new treehouse in a new oak tree that all came from that little nut. Wow! That was amazing! Did you see what happened? That acorn fell from that tree, and the animals kept carrying it around and moving it, and then they planted it in the ground, just buried it under there, and it grew into a giant oak tree. And look, there's Jill. She's all grown up. She's a grandma now. And there's Jack, and he's up in a fort. Another Jack in another fort. This has been crazy, but it was so amazing to see how they got their big giant tree. It all started from that little nut that fell out of the tree. That's incredible. Have you ever planted a tree? You should do it sometime. If you do it now, you can watch it for a long time and see it grow. It takes a long, long time for trees to grow that big, but they are amazing. So if you're walking past a tree and you see a little acorn or nut on the ground, you should ask Mom and Dad if you can plant it, and then you can take care of it. And you never know, you might end up with a giant oak tree all of your own. It could happen. We saw it happen in the book. But of course you can't do that tonight because it's dark out and you shouldn't be out walking around the trees in the dark. But maybe tomorrow you can. Tonight, I need you to get under your covers, get cuddled up, curled up, get ready for a really good night's sleep. Give Mom and Dad big hugs and kisses tonight. Talk to them about walking by the trees, and maybe you can pick up a nut with Mom and Dad. But whatever Mom and Dad say, whatever Mom and Dad do, you remember it's their job to teach you, it's your job to listen to them, and most importantly, obey. And obey right away. And then come back and see Miss Dorothy, because I'm going to be sitting right here, ready to read another book to you. Bye! Thanks for reading with Miss Dorothy. I hope you enjoyed this book, and I hope you'll come back soon to read another. What's your favorite book? Drop Miss Dorothy a note and let me know. I'll go find it, and I'll read it to you. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. I'll see you soon.